Hey, my name is Cherise. I'm the creator of this page, Exposing a Rapist. Initially, it was my homegirl who was supposed to be navigating the page, but out of fear, she opted out. Basically, I met Terrell, 2018, working the Metro by T-Mobile program. It was about August. He was flirtatious. I was a little bit flirtatious, but not too much. I was dealing with someone at that time. Um, I didn't really start hanging out and talking to Terrell until like the following activation we did the following month. We would probably go get something to eat during like the lunch break we got, and a couple times afterwards we would get something to eat together. But for the most part, he was talking about himself, his life. I talked a little bit about my life, and he was talking about the girl that he was seeing at the time. So it felt more friendly than not to me. There were times, about three times in those months, that we went on a few dates. I think we went on, I'd say, six in total. That he did make a pass at me. He expressed being interested in me sexually, but I didn't feel lusty for him to do that just yet. But I understood he was just out of a relationship and no one was kicking it with him at the time. I told him not yet, but it's something I'll consider if we were to be in a relationship, or if we, finally did both mutually were turned on by one another, that we could do that. So I guess the not yets felt very frustrating for him. He didn't want friends without benefits, and he didn't want a relationship either. Like, the only option for him was to be fooling around, and I just wasn't ready yet. I wanted to get tested. I wanted to bond. I wanted to be turned on, and I wasn't. So I was celebrating my birthday, February 10th. My birthday is actually the 3rd, but my plans didn't go as planned. My friend said, hey, come celebrate with me at Don Coquille. Don Coquille, I believe, is in Queens. So I went there after work. I told Terrell that he should come and hang out because we went to Melody's before, nightclub, and he said, no, I'm going to be in Privilege. So I was like, you know what? I'll come to Privilege after I finish hanging out with Desmond and celebrating our birthdays on the 10th at Don Coquille. I couldn't get into Don Coquille, so within a half an hour of standing on the line, I got on a cab and I met with Terrell at Privilege. Privilege is in Brooklyn, in Williamsburg. So the bouncer's like, are you with Terrell's party? And he seemed to like already know the answer to that question. He checked my wallet and my bag, and I said yes, and he pointed me in the direction of where Terrell was sitting. He was at a booth. The booth had alcoholic beverages, Coca-Cola, juice. So I asked him to make me a drink because he went over our spend limit on our friend date prior, so he owed me a drink. And it was my birthday. I had my little birthday pin on, and he seemed nice. Even though he was ready for intimacy sooner than I was, he seemed like a chill, laid back kind of person. I didn't think twice when he made me a drink. And I didn't think, black people spike drinks. I thought that was like white boy, frat boy stuff. So it took him a little bit longer to make than usual. I thought maybe he was just chatting with people. That's why it was taking him long. I remember seeing him turn on the light on his phone to mix the drink, and then he handed it to me and he swirled it real quick before I took it out of his hand. So I'm drinking it. It was a little bit bitter, but to me it was, not as fresh as usual Hennessy and Coca-Cola. But I thought it was like the VSOP or a different age XO, why it tasted different. And I'm not thinking twice. This is my guy friend and we cool. So I felt fine by the time I finished drinking it. It's the usual red Dixie cup amount, and about a quarter of it really was alcohol. It was the end of the night. It was around 3, 4 a.m. He didn't really have that much alcohol left. So afterwards, I recall making two other drinks. I know for a fact it was three drinks in total that I had in a 1 hour and a half time span, which was Patron, and cranberry juice. And I'm 35 years old. I've been drinking since I was 21. I know my limit, and I can drink 3 drinks in an hour and a half and not get messed up. So I walk to the bathroom, dancing around before, I get into the bathroom, and I meet this guy, and I gave him my phone number. But I'm not thinking much of it. We danced. I gave him my info. I usually just feel weird. It's like, all right, here's my Instagram. I always mention him because I am still good friends with this guy. He can attest to the things that he experienced when we met. So I went in the bathroom, took some selfies. I left the bathroom, started feeling dizzy. He said, "Are you all right?" Same dude. I said, "Yeah, I'm fine." He said, "Are you sure you need help to get to where you're trying to go?" I assume he meant like with whoever I came with, or if I needed help to get on a cab. And I said, "No, I'll be fine. I'm with this guy over here," and I pointed where I'm going to walk to. So I walk back to Terrell's table. At this point, I'm seeing stars. And the reason why I mentioned the guy is because to this day, the guy said, "You look drunk. You look messed up." And I didn't drink that much, but uh, I've told him since everything that's transpired since. So I went back to Terrell's table. Terrell asked me how I'm getting home. I tell him I'm getting on the train. And then he tells me, "You can't go home like this." He grabs my hand and grabs my stuff and walks to the front door. He talks to 2 girls before he exits the building. That's when I completely black out. Um, the Google Maps was on, so it showed me that he drove from Privilege nightclub in Brooklyn to Hollis Deli in Queens and then to this home in Queens. All I remember in that time span is I looked out the window and I saw it was dark. I saw stars. I remember being in the bedroom or a room because I felt my body on a hardwood floor and I'm throwing up. I'm sideways. Couldn't see, hear, or feel anything else. Then, another moment, I remember I ran into the closet and he opened the door. And together, that's 10 seconds. How am I only experiencing 10 seconds out of 6 hours from 4 to 10 a.m.? I don't hear, see, or feel anything else because I drank 3 cups of cocktails that I'm familiar with. So I wake up, I'm in this bed, I'm completely naked. Terrell is laying beside me with only his boxers on. I ask him, "Where am I?" He said, "I'm at his friend's home. I got really drunk." And I looked down, I saw I was naked. He promised me he didn't take advantage of me when I was intoxicated. And I didn't feel like I was penetrated, so I believed him. I looked over and I saw there was food. He said, he picked up something to eat. It was a hero and Sprite. And I believe he also had aspirin in the bag. So it was odd. I wanted to tell him, and I eventually did tell him. Future reference, take the girl back home and don't undress her. I just thought maybe he's a tool and this is his way of helping me. I didn't feel like he had sex with me, and I just thought he was a good person. He just should not have undressed me, and I believed him when he said I got drunk. So he showed me the throw up. He walked to the door of the bedroom and picked up the sheet. The sheet had black throw up on it. I was like, "Why is the throw up black?" And he's like, "I don't know." Like, he was grossed out. It had like a texture to it. So that was odd. After that, we did have a consensual experience, and it was time to go. We was there for 12 hours from 4 a.m. to 5 p.m. He's watching movies. I'm like, okay, this is cool. We were watching movies, whatever, you know. Um, and then in text, I thanked him, you know, that he took care of me. It could have, gone way worse. And I guess I really did get super drunk. But as we walked downstairs, there was another man. I was like, there's another guy here. He said, yeah, this is his house. He got the to go plate of rice and food, and we headed to the car. When he got to the car, he said his friends left trash in the car. I'm like, friends of valet? I didn't get how friends left trash in his car if he drove from Privilege nightclub to St. Albans, where were their friends um, that left trash in the car. Then, on our way back, he said, you don't think someone drugged you, right? I said, no, I don't think so. Like, randomly, he asked me if I think I was drugged. So, all these signs, they all mean something. I'm just trying to figure out what the hell is black vomit. What is wrong with me? I talked to a nurse and I made an appointment with the doctor. The nurse said that it could be possibly a gastrointestinal problem. It could be a liver problem. She just told me all these things that freak me out. Why I'm throwing up black coffee ground emesis. So I made it to a doctor's appointment. Told the doctor what happened. Doctor got stool and blood tests um, appointments for me. I drew blood a few times. The following appointment was postponed. But I'm thinking it's no big rush. I probably just have an ulcer. Within that time, I asked Terrell, why was this guy so comfortable with you bringing a drunk woman in his house? I'll be completely knocked out. Why don't you take me to my house? Or why don't you take me to your mom's house? You told me you live with your mom. You know, I was asking too many questions. He got frustrated with me. We did hang out 2 times, but once I started asking those questions, he completely ghosted me. So eventually I figured out he lived with his baby mother. I got in contact with her and she confirmed that to me. And I also told her I'm concerned about that night still because I was knocked out. I don't know if he took advantage of me, if he let his friend take advantage of me. Um, she empathized with me, but there wasn't more that she could tell me about that experience. So I saw Terrell 2 more times. I saw him at Melodies. I went to Melodies with a friend months later, and he saw me. Terrell, he came in, he saw me, he immediately left the establishment. He looked scared. I saw him again at the Metro by T-Mobile meeting. He couldn't stay in the meeting. Every time he saw me, he looked guilty. He looked scared. He can't stay. He immediately leaves. He was sitting in the Metro vehicle because he couldn't bear to be in the same room with me. And for me, any guy who was living with his baby mother or we fell off because we got into a fight or the guy didn't want to be with me no more, he's not scared shitless when he sees me. So I didn't understand what any of this was about. When I finally got my results back with the doctor said, you have no pre-existing conditions. This is a drug alcohol interaction you had. What you swallowed, you threw up. Were you drinking lean? Because he knows what he prescribes to me, and I wasn't taking any medication right before I got to Club Privilege. And I said, I kind of chuckled like I didn't know that doctors knew hip hop drugs and stuff like that. But once he kept explaining blood alcohol interactions, I had a meltdown because I didn't put a medicine in my own drink. Terrell must have put a medication in my drink while he swirled it around and handed it to me, and why it tasted bitter. So all the weird hints and the things that he did that night came back to me. It's like, okay, so that's why he threw away everything I threw up on. That's why he washed my hair with Summer's Eve, because the vinegar in Summer's Eve, I did the research, takes drugs out of hair follicles. He basically did a impeccable job of cleaning me up of all the drugs. He hung out with me for 12 hours because it takes 12 hours for GHB to remove itself out of a person's system. I ran into the closet because idiosyncratic drug reaction to GHB is to get up and just start running frantically before you knock out. It disables you of all five of your senses. Everything started making sense. Oh, my wallet was missing. Maybe he took it. Maybe he gave it to someone. Maybe he used the money at the wallet to purchase the things at Hollis Deli, the food and the beverages. So now I understood why whenever he saw me, he was guilty and he was afraid that I would retaliate, that I was running up on him. So just someone to take it to that length, that I told him I'm not ready yet, so which means I will, just give me some time, that he would drug me. It really angered me. And then remembering that he said that his friends trashed his car, that was the scariest and most frustrating part of that experience. Because if I'm having an idiosyncratic drug reaction, because black vomit is a drug in my body that I threw up, obviously you had to stay there and you told your friends to Uber over. Even if the friends only threw away my clothes, even if my friends helped you wash me and I didn't feel myself being washed, and you washed my hair with Summer's Eve, they saw me naked and you gave them access to my body to do whatever y'all agreed that you could do to me. And I had no idea because they gonna leave before I wake up. So he probably ran a train on me, or they probably was just having fun with my naked body, however preferred way they chose to. And there's probably video, there's probably pictures of it, but how could you be so perverted? How could you just play with a person's body and play with a person's life like that? There are women who have committed suicide because they were ran a train on, they were gang raped. There were women who, because they were drugged, committed suicide or attempted to commit suicide. There are people who got concussions because they fell because they were drug overdosed and hit their head. I could um drowned in my throw up. I could have drowned in the bathtub. Like, how do you just shut down a person's body, take off their clothes, and sexually assault them? They throwing up, they pooping. He told me I diarrheaed myself. They pooping all over the place. He washed them up just to take off their clothes and sexually assault them. When you could really, like, ask a girl to do that, to take some drugs with you and have sex with you, or to play dead, or get a woman to have sex with you, pay her, get back with an ex, like regular people do. And this is 4 felonies. Uh, Having GHB is a felony. Washing a person up is a felony. Um, Sexually assaulting them, stupefying them. It was super extreme. I did get PTSD. There were times I was crying. I was very angry. Um, every day I wake up, this is all I think about. For an entire year and a half. I did press charges, but Terrell uh, got the police report because he has connections with the police. He got my police report and he basically weaved his lie where he got away with it. He said he didn't do nothing. He just took off my clothes, washed me up, and went to sleep because there's no surveillance of a sex crime occurring. He got away with it. And there's no surveillance of him pouring the drug. Is my word versus his, and it couldn't lead to an arrest. And pretty much that's how you get away with it. You just say that you ain't do it, and you're pretty much off the hook. Or you say it was consensual. It's not easy to get justice for rape. So I told the police they have it on file. I did my due diligence in that way. I had to tell my coworkers this is what this guy is doing. Even if y'all think I'm lying, even if you don't think he's that kind of person, as long as you get keep an eye on your beverages, that's all that matters. So he doesn't do this to you and you don't end up throwing up blood out of your stomach and being assaulted by God knows how many guys. And then he leaves and pretend that he ain't do nothing wrong. It's not rocket science. People try to mansplain that he didn't assault me. Just because my vagina didn't hurt, that doesn't mean that he didn't penetrate me. If I had sex at 1 p.m., it's not impossible to not feel like you had sex at 8 p.m., at 7 p.m. So he knows how to do everything gently, covertly, and stealth enough that you had no idea it happened to you and you resume talking to him like normal. He throws away all the evidence. So I had to let them know. Um, his ex girlfriend definitely did try to warn me, but I didn't know that's what she was alluding to. And he definitely dropped hints and saved all her texts like he did with me to create a whole new narrative that this girl is crazy and he didn't do anything wrong. And she hinted at him cheating and seeing stuff on his Snapchat, so he likes to record these assaults that he does. And he does have access to drugs, and he has a criminal record, and he has no regard for people's lives. He likes getting over on people. He likes victimizing people. This is fully his MO. I don't make false complaints at precincts. I don't live a life of crime. I don't have a rap sheet. This is fully him. And the people who know me know that I'm not lying about this. There's a whole polygraph. I could pass a lot of polygraphs. Ask me all the questions in the world. Is he willing to do one? He knows what he did, and he's trying to silence me so he could resume this image that he has. And I understand people worried about his reputation, but these aren't lies. I think what's more important than his reputation is the health of these women, is the sanity of these women, is that these women don't get raped. If I keep my mouth shut, it's just going to enable him to do it again. These people are addicted to what they do. He has it down to a technique. He has people helping him. And the other one probably have no idea. Or if they do know, they didn't press charges. And it's not okay. It's not okay to do this and traumatize people. And she's considering suicide, or you accidentally kill someone, as many women have been accidentally killed because they ingested a date rape drug. I mean, there's so many ways to get someone to have sex with you, even if you like her to be or pretend to be unconscious. This wasn't the way to go for with someone who doesn't get down like that. So I know when Cardi B did it, everyone was ready to crucify her. She said she GHB men take their wallets and she lets her male friends, sexually assault them. And these guys had no clue that that happened to them. And this guy does it to me, but you give him a pass because that's your friend. So in textbook rapist fashion, because he's threatened, because his reputation has been tarnished, instead of explaining to me everything that happened to me, instead of apologizing to me, because he still won't say everything that he did, he tries to get me silenced by bringing people to my house to beat me up, by sending me death threats. This is what textbook rapists have done. um I'm not going to disrespect anyone, because at the end of the day, he's manipulating and using and hurting you psychologically and mentally. Everyone that he's lying to, he's okay with one of us going to jail and the other person going out in an ambulance, because he doesn't want me talking about what he did to him and what he did to me anymore. This isn't the way. I'm going to continue to speak my truth. And I'm okay with that being on file. I'm okay with women being able to hashtag his name and find out how he gets down. I wasn't warned, so I want to be a warning. Even if I would have laughed at a girl who told me he did this to them, I would have kept an eye on my cup, and I wouldn't have been a victim. I wouldn't have been assaulted by multiple guys. And if they're just undressing me and throwing shit away, it's not cool. Even if they were just playing with my wig and taking pictures and making fun of me, this is not a game. And you can't tell me you have daughters and you're okay with somebody doing this to someone's daughter. Even if I'm an adult, someone still loves me. A whole family of people love me. A lot of friends love me and they know the person that I am and they're heartbroken. All my people are hurt. And you're okay with your friends being hurt and making a fool of themselves. My mom ain't out here making a fool of herself. I'm not lying to her. I'm not lying to them. All these people in my church know this happened to me. All these people from my childhood know that this happened to me because I want to save lives. I'm not exposing myself because, oh my God, this guy doesn't want to be with me. Now I'm crying rape. So I could go to jail for a year lying? Stop it. You know what you did? I have the right, the First Amendment right of speech to speak my truth, and you're going to have to accept it. Accept that you will be talked about for a very long time. Maybe figure out a way to clean up your reputation so you're not a performative, good Christian man. You're not a performative father, but you're an actual good Christian man and dad who doesn't do evil things to people because you have access to drugs and you don't care about human beings' lives. And all you care is about how you benefit and who gonna help you out and how you gonna get away with it. Be an actual good man and don't pretend to be one and do horrific things to people after hours. It's not cool and it should stop. And the event that it doesn't, this is going to be a warning, and that police report is going to ensure that you don't do it again. And I don't regret anything that I've done, and I just hope that your friends and your family could see the truth, so they can help you out, and there are no more victims after me. Thank you.